Live from the south coast of England, this is Play Radio UK. Warning, the show you're about to listen to may contain strong language and the content might offend. Tommy and Duncan, gratuitously gregarious on playradiouk.com.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I thought you might like to know that in the spirit of punk rock, the following show includes what we often refer to as language.
We like this.
So if, like me, you are offended by such words and phrases as arse, bollocks, tit, wank, titwank, felch, bastard, rotter, arse bandit, tongue guzzler, mother licker, mother sucker, motherfucker, twat, minge juice bottler, fizzy fiddler, and of course cunt, then you might wish to turn over or fuck off. Thank you.
This is the Play Radio Network.
Oh, very good. Now, who put that together?
That was a BBC thing. So
yeah.
What?
I used it was done by the BBC on a TV programme which I then used and ripped off and bleeped, which is the version we've been using previously for a radio show I used to do.
Right.
And I've got that yes.
Yeah.
That's the one. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Say again.
So it was done by the BBC for the beginning of a TV programme that I have no idea what it was about. I just seem to I remember seeing it, and I just happened to be videoing the previous programme, so I had it on tape.
Excellent.
So I copied it, bleeped it, and used it on a radio show I used to use. I then, conversely, I was just telling Matt earlier on, is there was a programme last year about punk rock music and celebrating 40 years of punk on Radio 1, and they used that exact jingle at 7 o'clock in the evening and generated tons and tons of complaints about the F word, the C word, the whole works at 7 o'clock in the evening on Radio 1.
Nice potted history there.
Cool,
well done. Let's take our first Human Zoo call. Good evening, you're on Play Radio. What's that?
This is,
Anybody? It's a TV show.
Yeah.
It's too distorted, I can't...
Thank you very much indeed.
It's a kiddies programme as well. But I can't remember what it is. It might have been on CITV, but I can't remember.
No, it wasn't. 01243 55 60 60 is the number if you want to call in, and you just go straight to air without any screening or anything, like caller 2 to the Human Zoo on Play Radio. Hello.
Is this the last show?
I don't know. I ask. Are you watching? Are you on the webcam? Can you see?
I am, yeah.
Need to go up a bit.
Good evening. Where's the sign, Stuart?
Hang on, yeah.
This guy.
I am the station manager. In fact, I'm the network manager, as it happens.
Network manager.
You gave yourself that title.
I did give myself all my titles.
Well, what's your name, caller?
It's Matt.
Matt. Do you want to talk to Marcus?
Yeah.
Well, I'm listening, Matt. Go on.
I just want to know if this is the last show because I was told that it was. Hello, station manager.
Hello.
And
can you see him?
I was told it was, so I went to I just went and downloaded a song onto my iPod and just like reflected on life because I was a bit depressed.
Depressed?
Yeah, and I've got the song. It's 1 minute 32.
Is it?
Well, no, sorry. What song's this, Matt?
I've just downloaded. It's not swearing or anything.
Oh, well, in that case you can't play
my thoughts about it being the last show.
Oh, you've recorded your own song?
Well, it's lots of different songs together.
Is it depressing?
No, it's just my feelings towards this show.
I see, and this is a bid by yourself to persuade me, is it? Because I'm still on the fence. In fact, the reason why I'm here this evening is because I've heard so much about this show thingy that goes on a Sunday night with Donny Floyd, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd come down and find out myself what it was all about and make a decision, really, because it's not until tomorrow morning 9 o'clock at the strategy meeting that I really actually have to make a decision as to whether the show is going to go on.
Right.
So, go ahead, convince me.
Right, 1 minute.
Play your piece of music. Okay, let's 5 points, okay? Chicago? That was Chicago, I got 5 points. Next one. And okay, everybody in on this one. All 4 in,
okay,
all 4 in. The artist and the title. Okay. Don't leave me this way,
Tommy Nards.
Okay. competitive, but hello?
Oh, I didn't know if you cut me off or not.
It's going well so far.
Yeah.
Can you hear it all right?
Oh, yeah. Sadly, yes.
Please don't go by.
Yazoo?
I'm going to stop it there.
It was the last.
Boring, but
It was the last one.
What do you mean, get boring?
no, that montage got a bit boring.
So who was that last song?
That was the name of the band, Montage.
Montage.
Was it?
Yes,
Yeah,
Eurovision
Please
Song
Don't Go.
Contest.
That's Casey and the Sunshine Band,
Oh, of
isn't it? I
course
think.
it is, yes.
I'm too young.
All right, Matt, you're not... Yeah, thank you for your call anyway,
Okay.
Matt. I appreciate that. If you want to talk to if you want to converse with the network manager, Marcus, who is with us live in the studio this evening, or if you want to post a comment for him on Skype...
Or email.
Or email, yeah. Our email address is studio@playradiouk.com. Email studio@playradiouk.com. Stuart, you do a great job manning all these access points.
Yeah, mate.
Do we get many emails generally?
Quite a lot, mate. Yeah, about maybe 40, 50 a night, something like that. Yeah.
All right, so that's manageable.
Yeah, try and
I'll leave it to you then to
chop out the chaff.
Yeah, and put the keynote ones in front of Marcus. How's that?
No problems, mate.
Incidentally, if you want to see the webcams, it's tommyboyd.servebeer.com.
Good work.
What?
Hello, you're live, yep.
Can I talk to the programme, El Capitano?
El Capitano Marcus.
You're speaking. Please refer to me as sir.
Get it off the air.
Do you know that's what I came...
Finish it now.
It's
Put it out of
rubbish.
its misery.
That's
Let's have a bit more 80s pop music. I think that's what we all need. Instead of people chatting and being able to say bollocks over the phone, we need a bit more 80s pop music.
Don't you think we need... And what also, we need 5 in a row.
Yes, yeah, the 11 at 11.
I'm actually in awe. I think this is a wonderful idea, having music on the radio. Thanks for calling in.
Good man. Well, and bollocks.
Didn't he end his call last week like that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on a
roll here.
Okay. Human Zoo discussing the future of broadcasting.
Tommy, it's Alan here. I want to speak to the boss, please.
You're through?
I'm listening.
Good evening, boss.
Oh, good
I was
evening.
wondering, with this programme, you've got a sports reporter who does his hardest to keep people informed of the sport that's been happening on this day. And if the show does decide to continue, would a sports person be allowed to continue his work?
It's a very good question.
Well, I think actually once we've addressed the issue of whether the show should continue, I think the very next most important issue that we deal with is should the sports reporter continue to do a job, which quite frankly, I don't know, how's it been going, guys?
Well, I think tonight's one should be considered the audition and whether or not it's done very well or not.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Putting pressure on the guy.
No.
Well, are you doing a sports report now, or?
We said about 8:30. What?
Yeah, but it should be on around 8:30.
Yeah.
But I'm like his press agent.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll get Marcus to listen to your sports report, Alan, at 8:30, and he'll, give you 1 or 2 notes, maybe.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, that's Alan there. And Joe, if you're listening in Poland, Marcus, Joe is an American he's got 2 problems. He's American, and he lives in Poland.
And he got told to royally fuck off last week.
Can it get any worse?
Skype.
He's already got the sympathy vote then, really, isn't he?
There we go.
Who's this?
Joe.
Hey, Alan, apparently you're not that good. They're making you audition instead of your regular weekly audition live.
Yeah, your audition isn't going down too well either, mate.
Am I auditioning?
Yeah.
No, I'm just calling your show harassing people. Hey, there's something interesting. What's up with your rugby team adopting The Gambler from Kenny Rogers as their song of inspiration?
That's the best American song ever made, which gives you some idea of the crap that you guys normally churn out, isn't it?
All the songs you could have
That is a very good song.
The Gambler?
But you don't know anything about rugby, mister. Because actually, it turns out... No, you don't, because it turns out that the chorus in The Gambler actually is perfect as a rugby song. Because in rugby, you've got to know when to hold the ball, okay? And then you've got to know...
Okay, go on.
Do you know what? I love American audiences because you walk out and you go hi and they laugh with you. With you. You know what I mean? And then you got to know when to walk away and know when to run because that's the key thing in rugby. Which you guys are too sissy to play. I've seen that Friends episode where they pick the hardest game in the world. Okay, for who's the tall one who works in the museum? Ross. For Ross to have a go at because your gridiron is too Nancy.
How many girls are there in the studio? How many girls are there in the studio with you right now?
How many do you want them to be?
Just Tommy.
Oh, okay, because there's like way too few to know a fact about Friends unless you're a queer or something, man. You knew Ross's name?
Listen, all I've got to say is your big bunch of girls that played baseball last night, mate, was a pretty hefty defeat by the Red Sox, I believe.
Oh, I know, and tonight's Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, the Tribe is not really doing too well
doesn't that mean that if you lose tonight, you're out and done?
That's it. It's down to the final 3 teams now. Yeah, one's already in the championship, the World Series. So yeah, Cleveland and Boston.
Come on, be fair. Let's think about it. Van Halen, Metallica, Americans. I mean, come on. What? They've done good things for the world.
I'm just like, of all the songs you could have picked, though, The Gambler, I mean, if you find correlation with it, that's cool. I'm just thinking, like, why not something pumped, you know? Something with some guitars, some drums.
Hang on, just 2 seconds. Hang on, let me just do this. Let me go like,
where's that Yankee Doodle Dundee?
What?
Where's that Yankee Doodle Dundee now?
Hang on a minute.
Hang
on. There we go. Right, there we go. We should all be, if I can click that button with
I will explain what Stuart is attempting to do, which is to put Joe and Alan together on Skype so that we can listen to them having a
round one.
But I don't quite know how to get Joe. Oh, there we go. If I do that, there we go. That gets them both.
Wow, look at you guys. Last week, broken Skype. This week, a retarded American on the phone.
Yeah.
Always save the best for last.
Alan needs to step away from his microphone.
I'm hearing a song from 2010, you know. Progress.
Yeah, you won't know progress if it slapped you in the face.
What?
You won't know progress if it slapped you in the face.
I can't hear you. What? Take the dick out of your mouth. What?
Excuse me, you got the dick in your mouth. You won't know progress if it slapped you in the face.
Who slapped me in the face? What, you got a dick slapped in your face from the one you're sucking?
Go fuck off, will ya?
Go fuck off.
Okay.
No, I'm seriously thinking.
Now, guys, how can I have a reasonable discussion with that?
You're in Poland. It's better than anything you'll get in the street. You are still in Poland, aren't you? He's gone.
He's gone as well.
Okay, thanks for that, Joe, and thanks for that, Alan. So, Marcus,
yes.
12 minutes into the Sunday night extravaganza on Play Radio, Global.
Yes. I'm just reaching for my coat.
How are we doing? Come on, guys, contributing.
I'm off home. This is rubbish.
He's got a point. He wants to be impressed. He wants to hear us sing. He wants us to, you know.
I could have stayed home and got shagged.
He could have stayed at home and got shagged.
You liar.
Oh, really?
He wants to hear us slip the surly bonds of earth and touch the face of God.
Come on, you Play Radio audience, you.
So you can call in 01243 5560 60.
Do it now.
If you do that, you go straight to air. You can either talk to Marcus, or you can do what people do on the Human Zoo, which is to sometimes fire in a piece of audio, or maybe just let whatever's on their mind out. You can email us at studio@playradiouk.com. And if you're on your PC and you haven't downloaded Skype, it's a good setup. Just Google Skype. It takes about 90 seconds. And then you can make free contributions globally, wherever you are on planet Earth, into Play Radio. And it comes out kind of almost studio quality. Let's take another Skype call. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, it's G-Man Jr. here.
It's who?
G-Man Jr.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hi. Do you want to talk to Martin? How old am I? 55.
No, how are you?
Oh, sorry. That's the thing about Skype, isn't it? Are you?
Is it not clear?
It's a bit Norman Collier, if you've ever heard of him. Yeah, all right, we can all do it. But you don't need to because you're on Skype, so...
She comes naturally.
Yeah.
Are you feeling better this week, Tommy, seeing you weren't there last week?
I was at home last week with the missus, and actually what I did was I watched and listened to half of the show last week at home on the kitchen table, which was good. It was good. It was interesting. Yeah. I enjoyed it. What did you think of Zara?
Not to my taste, but I know others liked her.
Okay.
So, I think whenever there's a woman in the studio, you guys are a little bit different.
Correct. But is that a positive?
You act a little differently, conversations a little different.
But is that positive or negative?
That's not a bad thing. It's always good to be different.
So I think a woman around adds a positive presence because it's not all swearing and shouting at each other. But I think somehow, inevitably, we all try and flirt with her a little bit.
Yeah. There was a little bit of that.
Anyway, do you want to speak to Marcus and tell him what you think?
Yeah, no, I'll go a quick word. Marcus, please.
I'm all yours.
Hello, Marcus. How are you?
I'm very well this evening, actually, and your lovely self?
Very well, thank you very much. Despite England's crushing performances over the weekend.
Oh, I wouldn't call it crushing.
Well,
it was. Hello?
It was a try.
It was.
Hello?
No, it wasn't a try. That was
I
the point.
hope I'm not interrupting the flow of anything. Is that you, Tommy?
Oh, great. Here we go.
Hi,
Hello?
yeah, it is, yeah.
Now, I understand you've got the top nubs in this week, is that right?
The head honcho.
Right, because I'm buffering at the minute. I don't want to have a look at you or any of that. It's a bit creepy at the minute. So, I don't... But would you be mind repeating everything you've said at some stage on a podcast?
The first show?
Or, yeah, whenever, I don't really mind. Anyway, I buggered off, and I just wanted to say I'm still buffering, okay?
Right, thank you.
You guys are genius.
I do apologise for that interruption.
Yeah, you're back.
That's okay. It was a worthwhile interruption.
Wow.
But my point is, have you listened to the other shows? That
Yes,
have been
indeed. Yes, I have.
On? And have you been
appalled?
Impressed
yes.
by the number of people that have contributed, or have you thought, well, I thought there'd be more?
Both, really. I mean, the fact that people contributed at all was great, but yeah, we could do with more. So, I mean, have you encouraged anyone else to contribute to the program?
Yeah, no, I've been in the onthewireless.net chat room.
Excellent.
Telling people about it. I've contributed here in this chat room and stuff, so I think people have been interested. I think since the demise of a show on a Sunday night, which was later than yours, there's been a lack of live to phone-in radio.
Yes.
So this has filled a good gap at a good time.
I agree.
Actually, G-Man, while you're on the line, what we should be doing is getting the station manager to commit on air, so we have it on record, to purchasing another phone line.
Agreed. Absolutely. Go for it.
I'm sorry, I lost the signal there for a moment.
It's all Skyped out on you.
Didn't Alonso on us there? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that instruction to slow down in front of and let him through. I didn't.
Do you think he would have? If Hamilton had made it up, do you think Alonso would have let him past for the championship?
No, of course not.
I don't think he would.
Of course not. Not on any day of the year. Caller, sorry, you're G-Man, are you?
G-Man Junior.
G-Man Junior. Okay. Listen, thanks for that.
That's a pleasure.
Stay in touch.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, before you go.
Yeah.
You know you're allowed to say words on this kind of broadcast. Well, it's not a broadcast, a webcast. I don't know. That you don't get away with in the radio. Do you think that works, or does it just sound like gratuitous kids swearing?
It's not to my taste. It's not what I would do on the radio. But it works for a lot of people, and people find it funny. I suppose because you're not allowed to do it.
What would you do on the radio, G-Man Junior?
Me personally?
Yeah, you. Well, because I may be looking for a new program after tonight. You know. So.
Well, I like sports reporting. I know Alan's the sports reporter for this programme, but I'm interested in sports. But also I think doing shows like this where you get lots of contributions from email, from text, from phones, from Skype, and I think the idea that these guys have been doing where they've put out topics that maybe, as you say, blokes just talk about in the pub, blokes just talk about when they're around, and perhaps on other radio stations the conversations that go on off air are almost better than the ones that go on air.
Thank you.
And I think you guys have got that. You get that conversation
for 20 or 30 years. And, do you know, I was getting nowhere saying it at most of the radio stations I worked. They look at me, they didn't understand what on earth I was saying. I was saying, look, we've just talked for half an hour, and we've discussed this issue in reality. In reality, what we really think, and we're decent people, so our thoughts are worth something. And now we're going to go on air, and we're going to come out with a load of, a drink of water set of views, anodyne. Nobody's going to learn anything about us as people, about the issue involved. So let's talk like we talk in real life. And they go, hey, possibly do
and
that.
sometimes that's a little rough around the edges. Sometimes it doesn't include everybody, but that's how it is when you have those conversations.
About freedom of speech, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Cheers.
I like you, G-Man Jr.
Thank you, G-Man
Cheers.
Jr.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. It's Skype.
Yeah.
Play.radio.uk is our...
I was going to say you've got a
It's
Skype
just
call,
crashed
but it
on
has
you.
just crashed on me again.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well what we'll do is we'll listen to some important information and at the same time maybe crack another beer. You do the same at home if you can.
Play Radio UK.
How would you like to tell millions of people around the world about your company and what it does? PlayRadioUK.com can get your message to over 1 million listeners every month from under £1,000. So harness the impact of internet radio today. Get ahead of the competition and increase your sales and profits. For full details, go to playradiouk.com/sales or call 01243 55 63 55.
The Play Radio Network invites you to make a real difference in the life of a family coping with a terminal condition or severe disability. A ticket to the prestigious Lives for Living London event can be yours for a very special Play Radio UK donation of just £25. Taking place at the Energy Clinic in London on Wednesday the 24th of October from 6:30 p.m, this unique evening of entertainment and learning will bring home to you just how valuable your contribution is. With drinks, canapes, live music and the Barefoot Doctor on hand, as well as a free head and shoulder massage, your evening will be unforgettable. Book your tickets now by calling on 0207 767 3460 or follow the link on the Play Radio UK website, and you can also hear the Barefoot Doctor's personal message. Play Radio UK and Lives for Living. Please help make a difference today.
Dynamic Diction with Tommy and Duncan on Play Radio UK. Beware, the content of this show may offend.
In different ways. Marcus, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah. There's a couple of, for examples. There's a guy called David Irving, who is a historian, who believes that there was no Holocaust of the Jews in the Second World War, or at least that it's been massively exaggerated. And he in so saying, he contravened the law in Austria, a 1990 law. So when he went to Austria to lecture, they promptly arrested him and they threw him in prison for 3 years. He's back in this country now. He's broke because he lost a bankruptcy. He lost a libel case against a woman author in America, and he's bankrupt. But conventional broadcasting kind of isn't allowed to interview him because of what he'd say, that Auschwitz wasn't an extermination camp. That's one example. Yeah. Then just this week, there's a guy called James Watson, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's a scientist. He won a Nobel Prize for discovering DNA. He
Really?
Yeah, serious
Wow.
voice. However, he was invited over to speak, I think, at the Oxford Union, but he spoke to a journalist friend of his at the Times and mentioned a theory of his, which is that Africa is never going to solve its own problems because Africans are fundamentally, genetically, less intelligent than the rest. So they wouldn't let him speak. And they sent him home. So we're never going to find out whether there's something in what he says, or more likely he's a nutcase. And we're never going to find out if there's something in what David Irving says, or whether he's a racist. Would Play Radio be prepared to talk to people like that in the interests of finding out what it is they have to say, and are therefore allowing people the freedom of making up their own minds?
I actually, both cases, but particularly the first one, with regards to the Holocaust, represents the two sides of journalism. The answer to your question, Tommy, is yes. Play Radio would be prepared to give people the opportunity to put forward their views, because that's the essence of the freedom of speech. With regards to the validity of what Mr. Irving had to say about the horrific, or reported, much reported horrific events of the Nazis in the Second World War, it's the oldest activity in the book, isn't it? It's the oldest thing in the book, manipulating the press. opinions. And so, with cases along the way, and conspiracy theories still going today, and as recent as 9/11, where there are many thoughts and many beliefs that the media has manipulated or enhanced or bid to move people's minds or views and opinions through their power, anything is possible. And therefore, I mean, on the one hand, freedom of speech should be allowed, and on the other, I think people's minds should be open to the possibility that actually what they're hearing or seeing or what's being reported to them may not actually be entirely true.
Okay, so what do you think about what Marcus just said? I have to say, entirely unbiased, I think that's fantastic. And it's one of the great contributions that the internet can make to the world over and above contemporary conventional broadcasting and written press, who do a great job in certain respects. But, for example, Marcus mentioned the 9/11 thing. There is an enormous amount of really impressive questions being asked by very important and well-qualified and intelligent, lucid, liberal and non-liberal people in the United States, and not a jot of it gets onto the conventional media. I haven't seen a TV programme about this clamour in America on British TV. Panorama hasn't done it. Why not? You know, it hasn't been reported on the news. It hasn't been. Even the Guardian, you know, the good old Guardian that likes to say it's as honest as the day is long. I haven't seen anything in any of our newspapers. Maybe there was something in the Daily Express just saying there are people who think that the craziest conspiracy theory that's ever been put forward is that a bunch of 19 ragtag terrorists armed with box cutters, none of whom could fly a plane, were able to wreak that kind of havoc. Okay, let's take a few more calls on the human zoo, which might be objective or ridiculous. We don't care.
Tommy, play the jingle.
Oh, good, yeah. Sorry, Alan. Where are we? Alan Caddick's sports jingle.
Sunday night sport roundup with Alan Caddick on PlayRadioUK.com.
Good evening! We start with Formula One at Ferrari's Kimi Räikkönen has won his first Formula One World Drivers' Championship as Lewis Hamilton's bid to become champion has come to a dramatic end in the Brazilian Grand Prix. Hamilton's attempt to make history by winning the title in his maiden season ended when he finished only 7th. His challenge was ended when problems with his McLaren dropped into the back of the grid field early on. His teammate Fernando Alonso's hopes were dashed as he finished third behind Räikkönen's Ferrari teammate Felipe Massa. So the final standings looked like this. Räikkönen, who has won 2 more races than anyone else, wins the championship with 110 points. With Alonso and Hamilton tied on 109, Hamilton takes second place on countback with 1 more second place than Alonso. Now, football, and in the day's only game in the Premiership at Upton Park, West Ham beat Sunderland by 3 goals to 1. West Ham went ahead in the 8th minute when Carlton Cole twisted to level George McCartney's cross into the top corner of the net. However, Sunderland pulled level when Kenway Jones levelled with a firm header after half-time. West Ham made it back into the lead after Roberto Solano pounced his shot hit the mark and went in off the boot of Sunderland's goalie Craig Gordon. And Craig made sure it was 3 points to West Ham with a goal on the stroke half-time. And finally, in rugby union, the scores in the Guinness Premiership are as follows. Bristol 39, Leeds Carnegie 13, London Irish 15, Gloucester 10, Newcastle 20, Bath 33. And that's sport for tonight. It's over to Tommy, Stuart, and the head of Play Radio.
Hang on a second, Alan, hang on. That was very good. You there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, very good. Anybody got any notes? I've got a couple of notes, Alan. Go on, unless anybody else wants to get in first.
In terms of feedback?
Feedback.
He was about to miss out my name.
Feedback.
He's got a lot of energy, Alan, and we like that. A lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm for sport, and that's a big plus.
Yeah.
But pace was a little feisty, I thought.
Too pacey.
Too pacey. Energy's good, but that was actually quite pacey. And,
too pacey, Alan.
Yeah.
So I was trying to fit it beyond the music.
Well, that's a good point. See, the music does... He's making a good point. The music does dictate a certain drive, doesn't it, to the delivery?
Yeah.
Maybe we could get him something a little bit...
Bit Drop the Dead Donkey, isn't it?
A bit R&B.
Excuse me, have you ever seen Drop the Dead Donkey, Stuart?
I didn't say anything, mate. Don't start me.
You said it was a bit Drop the dead donkey.
No. All I was saying was the music on the jingle sounds very much like the theme tune to Drop the Dead Donkey.
Well, we can blame Ben Peluso for that because he made it.
I so fancied the PA in Drop the Dead.
Yes, so did I. Joy.
Yeah. I watch it on Paramount every night.
The grumpy one.
Oh, she's brilliant.
It was so good.
She wears these short skirts.
I feel, Alan, that you could maintain your enthusiasm and energy and introduce just a little more sing-song into the tone of your voice as you deliver.
Up and down. Let me give you some. Let me give you a tip, Alan, that they do pass around at the BBC. It might work for you, it might not.
You're fired.
Yeah, exactly. You're a liar.
Why are you gonna be like that?
What I want you to do is, have you got your script written out there in front of you?
Yeah, I've got it on my screen in front of me.
Okay. What you need to do is you need to punch the last word in every sentence before a full stop.
What? What do you mean by that?
Well, give me one of your sentences. Give me your random sentence that ends in a full stop from your script, and I'll do it for you.
Right, okay.
Don't be nervous.
You're just being
had in the 8th minute when Carter Cole tricked Jordan McCartney's quad into the top corner.
Okay. Now, you see, what you do is you allow the sentence to end and tail away, so you go corner. Okay?
Yeah.
But in order to, you can drop your pace, but you can retain your impact by making it top corner! Do you know what I mean? Go up.
Top corner!
Up. So, go on, try it.
Cross into the top corner!
That's
it! Down the board level!
Joe wants a word with you, Alan.
Yo.
Fuck off, Joe!
Joe, you're on.
Joe.
Oh no, don't say.
He's gone.
He's fucked off.
Yeah. He's fucked off.
No, surely that should be fucked off!
He fucked off!
Okay, do you want to try it next time then, Alan? Just give it that little bit of a, if there is a next time.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like I say, it's not to me, it's up to the chief.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, okay? Go away, right? Punch the words at the end of the sentences.
Up.
Come back later on the show and do it again.
Oh, God. Hang on, I'm at work at 9.
Oh, God.
It's Sunday night, isn't it, Tommy?
Okay, we'll do it the play
Hey,
radio.
dude, Alan, listen. I've been working in broadcasting for years. I'm not sure how this works. If you want some advice on how to work in the radio...
Hello?
The lesson.
Hello?
Take the cock out of the mouth and we can understand you.
Excuse me, you got the cock, not me. Bye-bye!
You're listening live to Play Radio's Sunday night, everybody can do what they want show.
Right.
And if you podcast, then that's...
Fat Steve on Skype. He's been holding and I've been putting him on hold and bringing him forward and all sorts of things.
Hey, Fat, do you mind them calling you Fat Steve?
No, in fact, I think I'm a little bit thinner than, Stuart is, so,
What is your waist measurement, Fat?
Actually, I have a size 32 waist. I'm not really that
Christ,
fat.
that's not very fat at all.
I'm embarrassed myself now.
I don't want to tell you what mine is.
What's your neck measurement, Stuart?
19 inches.
Close. Okay, Fat, go ahead.
Well, I first wanted to talk about the James Watson thing with his comments. I was reading about that, and I don't think they canceled it so much because, they were afraid that the comments were politically incorrect. I think it's because they realized that he was just sort of like a lunatic old man. Because when you think about it, you think, oh, well, okay, maybe he's going to say something really intelligent about DNA and genetics. And then he gave us his reason, because like a few black people who've worked for him were very unreliable.
Yeah, I caught that, but I still want to hear him say it, mate. I don't want to read that's what a journalist heard him say. I don't want that. That is censorship. That's getting in the way of me making my own judgment about a person who's being judged now globally. And that's wrong.
Oh, well...
I want to hear him say that. I want to say to him, did you say that? And is all you've got to go on in saying that black people aren't as intelligent as white people the fact that you have had 4 guys who drove your car into the garage wall or what? I want to know that, because I think a man of his once intelligence would have a little bit more to go on than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you got to realize that, if a private concern is going to have him speaking at their event, they're going to be worried that, well, if he says this, what else is he going to do? Is he going to start waving his private parts around?
If he wants to do that, what's wrong with that?
Exactly, it's his prerogative.
Exactly.
I wave mine around whenever I like.
He does.
I'm the station manager.
Yeah, I guess you could here, couldn't you? Yeah. Okay.
And about David Irving, I agree. I disagree with what the Austria government did, because I don't think he should be put in jail for free speech. But as far as him getting his point across on various media outlets, I mean, I don't think it's important that someone who's going to disagree with the most documented event in human history gets his point across, because it's like someone who's saying the Earth is flat.
No, that's not true.
Well, why isn't that true? I mean, it's
not true. Churchill said famously, in war, the first casualty is always truth. Correct?
Correct.
Why did that ship in 1917 sail to Great Britain?
The Lusitania?
Yeah. Why did that sail to Great Britain with the information out there that it was carrying weapons as well as men, women and children? And wasn't the sinking of that ship quite useful to the overall the then purpose of the United States government, which was to enter the war, but they needed something to trigger American reaction so that decision would be welcomed and seen as patriotic rather than sort of far-sighted. And ditto Pearl Harbor. We're not certain, are we, that those things weren't manipulated?
I definitely agree that things can be manipulated, and I didn't say that things can't be manipulated, but there's a major difference between hiding one person's or one group of people's manipulation and documenting, a tragedy of human history where there is plenty of evidence that you can look at.
Well, I'd like to hear what David Irving has to say. I'd like to hear him present his case. I'd like to find out whether he's merely asking questions, which I think is what every historian and journalist should do, or whether he's made his mind up and he's got a point of view which he can't substantiate with evidence.
But, there's plenty of things that are available that give that point of view. I don't think that it's necessarily being hidden. I think it's given exactly the amount.
You've been told that there's plenty of evidence, but you've never gone to see any of it yourself. Am I right?
Well, yeah, that's true. I have never looked at any evidence that...
In the
same way, I've never looked at evidence that... Ben Franklin existed. I've never looked at evidence that George Washington actually existed. I've never looked at any evidence proving most of the things that happened in history. I don't really, think that that's that important.
Yeah, well, it is if you're going to argue that.
Why don't you think that? Why don't you think that's important? Why don't you think that it's important? Why do you think the GIs collected the dirt from every one of the beaches that they landed on and took it home with them? Because that was it. That was the evidence that these things took place. Somebody, my other half, was telling me that someone she knew came back, actually, from Auschwitz just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and said that actually the experience was actually spoilt by the number of tourists that were there, the number of coaches of people that were turning up to see all these things.
Sitting down with packed lunches.
Unbelievable.
Taking photographs of each other with their arms around each other.
That's right. We were here. And there's stuff still there. The suitcases are all still there with names chalked on them, and there's all stuff. But, okay, that's what we've been told took place there. That's what's been written in the books. But who put them there?
The point is, okay.
Who put them there?
What David Irving is not... You see... David Irving is not arguing that some of the facts are slightly incorrect. What David Irving is going ahead and arguing is that the Holocaust never happened. And the fact that all
I've got to interrupt you. I don't believe he is saying that. But I want to know what he is saying.
Yeah,
and the only way I'm going to
point.
find out what the fuck he is saying is if we allow him to say what he's saying. And I trust you, and I trust the guys here, and I trust the rest of the contributors to this show, and I can actually trust the planet Earth. I trust everybody on Earth, apart from one or two nutcases who are already Nazis, to be able to make an intelligent decision about whether he's asking some sensible questions. I don't know what the man's voice sounds like. Nor do you.
Well, I mean, if you're, you know, I can honestly say, you know, I can't sit here and argue about David Irving because, like what I told you, I disagree with sending him to jail for anything that he says. I don't see what he has. You would have to make the argument to me as to what he's saying
and supposing
that's different than anything that disproves anything that I know now.
Supposing I was now going to make this argument to you here on Play Radio UK live, and Tommy said, "No, Marcus, I'm not going to allow you to say that." That's what we're talking about here. That's the principle we're talking about here. Yep. Tommy would then be oppressing me. Again.
Oh, Mark. Again, which I usually do so subtly, he doesn't know it.
Yeah. That's what he thinks, you see, but I know.
Steve, I'll tell you the one thing that I've often wondered about the Holocaust, which if it took place at all, even in a very small, scaled-down way, which is actually what David Irving is saying, and he's also saying that Hitler didn't really know much about what was going on, and that's another thing. But do you know the one thing that's always crossed my mind whenever there is a series of public events reminding us about the Holocaust is the sheer number of Auschwitz survivors who they get into the studios and who you read being interviewed in the newspapers and who you see speaking at the United Nations. If that was such an extermination camp, I'm astonished that so many people, Jews, spent the entire war at Auschwitz and were allowed to live by the Nazis when they vacated the place.
Okay, I will address that. Okay, first of all, you know, that's entirely anecdotal because you're not giving a number. You're saying there's so many. But, okay, first of all, I can only speak of my own personal experience and my family's experience, which I didn't even know what it was until a few years ago when I went back to Poland and Amsterdam.
I'm just going to, for professional reasons, ask you to react a little bit more to what I've said, which would be useful.
Well, if you said to me there are 2 million Auschwitz survivors, I'd say, okay, that's very strange. But you're just saying so many.
Have you ever heard of any?
Have I ever heard of anyone surviving Auschwitz?
Yeah.
Yes, but
how can they do that? How can they do that? How can you be a Jew who survives the entire war at an extermination camp and be allowed to live afterwards by the people who apparently carried out humanity's greatest crime? Wouldn't they have been shot as potential witnesses? How can you be an Auschwitz survivor and you've admitted that you know that there is one? There are actually loads, but there is one. How can that person have survived that? Steve?
Okay, well, I think you have a very narrow view of what history's greatest crime is.
Just tell me how the fuck the person could have survived, how the fuck a Jewish person could have survived 5 years at an extermination camp where millions of other Jews were being exterminated, and then after the war, when the Germans left Auschwitz, knowing that what we are going to be told is that it was the scene of the greatest crime humanity's ever committed. They went, well, we'll just leave these people here. They will be able to point the finger at us. They will be able to tell the world what went on here. But, we'll grow moustaches. For fuck's sake, Steve, explain. How did they survive?
I'm going to explain. First of all, you know, it wasn't, how many people are you saying it's claimed were exterminated in the camps by mass extermination, or people who died of disease in the camps? Or are we talking about people who, okay, as I said, I can only speak about my family members, and it was my great-grandparents who
How did they survive, Steve?
My great-grandparents did not survive.
How did survivors survive? I'm really interested
wait, but my great-uncle, he was sent to Dachau, which was a political prisoner camp. He was sent there in 1938. In 1939, they released him, and he fled to America. He couldn't get my great-grandparents' passports. He couldn't get them over
you're drifting way off the point. If you can't answer the question...
Well,
then just agree that you can't answer the question.
I'm not entirely sure what your question is.
Oh, for goodness sake. No, you've got to go away now. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, does anybody on planet Earth not know what my question is?
Yes. The question is, how did they survive in such a ruthless extermination
camp? How did a person survive? Yeah, how did... For 5 years, there are people who said, I was an Auschwitz. If it happened...
Just being fucking good at playing dead.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I'm not saying that the Holocaust didn't take place.
No, of course it did.
What I am interested in, though, is the kind of questions that David Irving might be asking.
Exactly.
In order to find out...
His opportunity to ask those questions has been removed, and our opportunity to hear him pose those questions, and for us to have the opportunity to question our own beliefs.
It's much.
PlayRadioUK.com. Just great music.
Looking for an easy way to increase revenues for your business? With the world-exclusive Play Radio Stream launch advert, we can tell over 1 million listeners a month about your business and how to buy your products and services. This fantastic opportunity is available exclusively to only one advertiser each month. So make sure you're the one and start increasing profits today. For full details, go to playradiouk.com/sales or call 01243 55 63 55.
Do you ever get the feeling someone's watching you? Creepy, isn't it? Well, how would you like to be the one doing the watching with the Play Radio webcam? Have a look and see what our presenters get up to while they're live on air. See Lee Mosdale scratching the parts that no other man can reach. Ugh. Or Paul Anthony saying his name backwards after 10 cans of Special Brew. Or Jamie Robertson with his, pet sheep. Go to playradiouk.com/webcam and take a look for yourself. But only if you don't frighten too easily. Letting it all hang out. Ooh. Tommy and Duncan on Play Radio UK. Beware, the content of this show may offend.
What?
Okay. We are, this evening discussing freedom of speech. We have with us at the Play Radio Sunday Night Show studio the network manager Marcus. Stuart's here, of course, and so is Matt. I'm Tom. We're making it as level a playing field as possible, because one of possibly the great thing about this type of webcasting, or whatever it is that we're not subject to the same kind of constraints that can be sensible and can be a pain in the arse and can also be an impediment to understanding. What's next, Stuart?
I've got a million people waiting on hold for Skype, and if you want to take the phone call first, that's probably easier.
I'll take a quick phone call on to the Human Zoo, or whatever it is. Hello?
Oh, hello?
Stuart, you're good at these.
Damn.
Even I don't recognise this one.
All right. I think I'm on now.
Yeah, you are.
What do you have going on there? Some crazy nut. You're talking about Auschwitz. How do people stay alive? Remember, Hitler kept thousands alive in order to initiate his plan. They were actually self-serve workers. So the ones that survived were part of the system that literally...
Yeah.
But they were fed on a half a banana a day or something. I mean,
he's got a point. He's got a point in that some of the inmates were used.
Yeah, they were the stronger ones
to survive it for 5 years.
Yeah, no, that's just.
And then having witnessed what they're supposed to have witnessed, and then to have been allowed to have lived by the guards who knew that they were going to have to go into hiding and try and pretend that they hadn't been exterminators at Auschwitz.
Did they know that at that point?
To the Human Zoo, or whatever it is.
Colin.
Hello?
Just feeding us back the stream, isn't it?
That's the same thing again.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Did they know they would have to go into hiding though? Because I don't know for sure. I've never been great with history, but I think they left in a bit of a hurry, didn't they? Because they were expecting to win the war. Let's face it.
Well, no. To be honest,
not
they
in
were.
1945.
No, they knew they were on a loser at 43. Yeah. I mean, if I can take the other point of view for a moment, yes, they weren't prepared for the speed with which they would have to dispose of their evidence. That's one of the explanations. So in one particular case, I can't remember which camp, there just simply wasn't enough ammunition.
And Fat was right, you know, Fat Steve, in that there is a lot of documentation that's still coming to light. They're actually now just releasing a massive library of information about exterminations that took place in the various death camps. I don't know why it's taken them 50 years to release those documents, but they're just coming now into the public domain. But I mean, I read through the rise and fall of the Third Reich, which is probably, it's that thick, and it's probably the best documentation of Hitler's years possible. And in that book, repeatedly, I've forgotten the name of the author, the journalist, the writer, he repeatedly says that there is no written evidence at all, unfortunately, sadly, he says, strangely, he says as well, to connect Hitler with any of the extermination programs. He takes the view that Hitler was shrewd enough not to sign up, not to have anything written down that would connect him with it. Yeah. But then we have to remember that in 1939, 1940, 1941, Hitler was in no doubt about who was going to win the war, was he?
No.
He didn't think to himself, I'd better not. No, I will not say that I'm going to exterminate all the Jews. Just in case I lose the war, I still might be able to stand for Parliament in Totnes.
Maybe he was a clever.
No, plausible deniability is not a novelty, is it, really?
Let's take another Skype call now. Cheers. Hello, fella.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, what's your name?
Neil.
Neil?
Yeah, from Belfast.
Neil from Belfast. Hello, mate.
Yeah. Tommy, I can hear this echo at the minute. Is it sound okay for you?
It's not brilliant.
Yeah, cuts in and out.
You might be better phoning us if you wanted a serious one.
Yeah, no. I've only got Skype, unfortunately. But I just want to say, I heard your very first, internet broadcast some years ago, and so it's good to see you doing the internet again and taking advantage of it.
Was that with FreeServe, if I can ask you, or was that with the BBC?
It was like the very first one you did. I can't remember. So long ago. I just remember. It was like.
I didn't think anybody. I didn't think anybody was listening to that.
Yeah. There was like a bunch of us trying to get onto it,
okay.
And then we were told to disconnect and reconnect so that a whole load more could get on. Yeah, it was all very early stuff. That was like I don't know, probably 8 years ago or something.
10 years ago. The technology then was such, and this was FreeServe, who were one of the big providers. The technology was such that when you got your 20th person logged on listening, the first person who had logged on was logged off.
Which something like that.
It wasn't right, was it? And
yeah, but it works great for you now. I just caught up on the last couple of shows on YouTube. They're all put up there with the cameras and stuff. That's excellent. Yeah,
it is. It's a bit difficult, I find, finding the order.
If you click on playlists, right, then the guy who does it for us, Ed Olean, I think his name is, from the Tommy Boyd Shrine.
Yeah.
He puts all the little playlists. So if you click on playlist, you click on the first one, then it'll go through and play all of them in order.
Where's the playlist button?
It's on the right of the video. There's usually like more from this user and a playlist thing. And if you click on
that gives it an order.
Yeah, it should give you an order. Yeah.
All right. Well, cheers for that, Neil. Stay in touch.
All right. Thanks, Tommy. Yeah. What are you doing after this? Then any more plans for more internet broadcasting?
Well, that's why we got the man in, Marcus. He's the network manager. Here he is. Are you watching or are you just listening?
At the minute, I'm not actually listening. At the minute, I'm doing my own shoutcast thing, so I haven't been able to listen to this live. So I just in the middle of it, I just thought I'd phone you up there.
Oh, what do you mean you're doing your own shoutcast thing?
I'm doing like an internet broadcast on my own website. So yeah, I just thought I had a guy on that was Skyping me. He was going to play a ukulele song, but then I couldn't get into the conference earlier. So yeah, I just I wanted to say hello to Tommy and wish him all the best. Really.
So is it your own talk show you do through your website, or?
Yeah, just started it, playing music and that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm taking
Good
Skype.
On you. Respect.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Okay. It's going very well. Where have we got to? Tonight we got Marcus here, who is the network manager, because we decided to do a 12-week run with this stuff. Mike, I can't call like that.
That's great.
Great noise.
This is the standard of broadcast that I should come to expect.
Quite quickly,
Thomas?
DJ.
A flatliner. Lovely. A flatliner. Beautiful.
Catch, Stuart. That was good, wasn't it?
So here's how you can contact. If you want to, you can email. And Stuart is manning the emails. We haven't read enough emails out, Stuart, but I know you're busy.
We haven't read any, and we've got a load.
Yeah, okay. Email studio@playradiouk.com.
Has anonymously yours been in touch?
No more anonymously yours this week, no.
No.
Do you want me to go through some of these?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay, so, for the attention of Marcus, don't even think about removing the Boydster and his team. I find the show both hilarious and intelligent. If you disband the programme, I have noted in my suicide note that you were ultimately to blame for my demise, and that of Boyd. Human Zoo is a social experiment and must be evaluated. Rick.
Well, if I can just respond to that very quickly, as network manager, I celebrate notches on my gun, so all the best then.
Yeah, me too.
Dear Sir Marcus, I would like to argue the case to keep Boyd and Barkus it's as simple as this, and I think it means TalkSport. TalkSport equals Jay Goody, Boyd and Barkus equals Joanna Lumley. It's game over, really.
I'm reading upside down on the email thing, Stuart. Can I do that one? Should I tell my sister that I am currently wearing her clothes? She's at work at present. I am her younger brother and really prefer her clothes to mine. Currently wearing her pleated skirt, tights and top. You know, of all the kinks, I can see some of them and I can't see others. I just can't see wearing women's clothing.
No.
Does anybody here get at all excited about wearing women's clothing?
No.
Be honest.
No, honestly not.
Done drag DJing a few times when I used to play the clubs in Leicester. We used to play gay clubs and stuff, and it's awkward, it's annoying.
There's two groups in society of men who, given any opportunity and excuse, will dress up as women, and that is rugby players.
Yes.
And the police.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that is very true.
That's very true. And they sing while they drink as well, don't they? Same groups.
Rugby players drink their own urine in bars. It's very strange.
Colin.
Hello? Can you hear me there?
Yes.
Hello? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, mate.
Right, right. I'm on the live a minute. Just like to say thanks to Mark just for replying to the email.
Oh, pleasure. No problem.
Cheers, mate. Are we still on the David Irving bit?
If you want.
Hyperspace is very echoey tonight.
Is it? Yeah, it seems a bit, yeah. I think he should be here as well, just to ridicule the man.
You moved into that tunnel.
He's got a feedback loop happening.
Yeah, thanks for that. Skype's not brilliant tonight, so the calls, I think, probably are going to take a little bit of precedence, although, funnily enough, it's interesting, Skype, isn't it? We've got a better line from Poland, and from downtown, where does Fat Steve live? Downtown Detroit.
Amsterdam sometimes, he's got a flat. I don't know whether he's in America or Amsterdam.
Lucky guy.
You're on Play Radio, Jude. Thank you for calling the Human Zoo line.
I like wearing women's clothes.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you like wearing men's clothes, though?
I used to.
You don't ever read about that.
I used to when I was younger. I used to really be into that sort of ambiguous dressing.
Yeah, but what did it turn you on?
Yeah, it kind of turned me on. I think when I was finding my sexuality around the age of kind of 10, then I was really into Marlene Dietrich and people women who were kind of sexual and powerful, but they also had that masculine thing going on.
So you probably like Judy Garland in Cabaret.
Or are you more Marilyn Manson?
No.
Yeah, well...
He's a weird one, Marilyn Manson. I can't get my head around him.
He is, yes.
It's very strange.
Good turn of phrase there, Matt.
He definitely is. Zara, you were on last week.
That's right.
I sat at the kitchen table and watched. What were your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It was really good fun. What were your thoughts?
About what?
Well, I don't know. What were
about Zara?
Yeah.
You want my thoughts about Zara?
Yeah.
Because you do really, don't you?
All right, go on then.
No. First of all, I'll be honest. If I was you, I'd want my thoughts about you. But you're you, and you do, don't you?
Hold on, you're confusing me now.
No,
you want my thoughts about me?
No, if I was you, I'd be wondering what the Play Radio team and the rest of the contributors, because it's a level playing field.
Yeah.
Because we all find ourselves wondering how people are assessing us, don't we?
I mean, I kind of care to a small extent, but not to a really huge extent.
I don't think that's quite true.
Liar.
Well, I don't think that's quite true, Matt.
I prefer liar.
Yeah, but is that going to bring people out and draw them out? No, it ends it, doesn't it?
You make a good point,
so I'm not convinced that's entirely true, Zara.
Well,
knowing humanity, well, at least myself.
A limited amount.
I
mean, nobody wants to be dissed, obviously.
No, but did you got the odd diss?
Well, probably.
Yeah, and it hurts, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. It depends who it's from, and not if it's from
Does it really?
someone who's a twat.
Don't you think most...
Really care.
Do you really not? Because I think most of us want absolutely everybody to think we're wonderful.
I don't know. I think I accept that actually everybody can't like everybody. I mean, people don't like cheese, so people aren't going to like me. Everyone's got their own taste.
Yeah, but even cheese wants everybody to like it.
No, cheese doesn't care. Cheese accepts things as it is.
No, that's unfair. Don't you leave cheese alone.
You like cheese,
I
don't
love
you?
cheese.
Yeah, I like cheese too.
I love cheese. I was fortunate enough a couple of weeks ago to be out in Amsterdam and to bring back the largest wedge of old Amsterdam you've ever seen in your life.
Is that good
'Cause
cheese?
It's the only, yes.
Does that burn the roof of your mouth?
It's just the best.
It's funny, isn't it? If there's an element of pain involved in food, it's even more pleasant than if it just tastes good. You know, like,
more chili powder.
Chilies! Zara, I thought you were a very unusual person to be that interested in radio and indeed alternative radio.
Okay, is that a compliment?
Well, do you want it to be a compliment?
Go on then.
Okay, yeah, it's a compliment, but you see, it's a backhanded compliment because it compliments us. Because what it means is that what we're doing is drawing the interest of a wider range of people than you generally get with conventional broadcasting.
Yes, well, you definitely interest me, so...
Why?
Why? Because I like the fact that it's kind of a bit, anarchic. I've got a chance to have a little voice, even if I'm just going to say silly stuff. And there's a kind of freedom around it. I just like a bit of kind of chaos and nonsense and, you know...
The very point we were making earlier about the gentlemen who've been criticised in the press. The opportunities for a little voice to have a big audience. Doesn't matter what you have to say. So,
are you talking about James Watson?
Yeah. You just put yourself on the same side of the bench as him.
Well, don't say that. I mean, I've been thinking about him quite a lot this week, and getting involved in, like a little bit of debate about what he's saying. And I don't really know what I think, but it's really interesting that, here's a guy who has got the Nobel Peace Prize, for discovering DNA, and he believes, even though he might be retracting these statements, but he has said that he believes that black people are less intelligent than white people, and that he's done some scientific proof to show this.
Yeah.
And everyone is kind of getting all excited about it. Of course, there's genetic differences between genders and between certain races in lots of different ways. And I think one of the key things is that at the moment, intelligence is seen as something so important, but actually I don't think it always will be. Yep. Intelligence and science just happen to be the gods of the modern era.
Yeah, but Zara, here's the point. Okay, Play Radio would give him the opportunity to come down here to West Sussex and say it to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's true or not.
Yeah, but it's what he thinks.
Yeah.
It's what he thinks.
I think that's a good attitude to not care about truth, because I think the search for truth is something that just comes out of this sort of religion idea.
But the majority of truth is subjective, though, isn't it?
I don't believe in truth at all. I think you can have discernible facts.
I know, are you like me? I end up believing the last thing I've heard all the time, you know?
Tell me you're great.
Yeah.
Exactly. I hear that a lot, though, so I'm kind of immune. Zara, thanks for your call. It's good to talk to you.
I think Joe wants to have a quick word with Zara.
I understand.
Zara, how you doing, sweetheart?
Hi, Joe. I'm good.
How are you, dear?
Doing?
Hey, you know what? You got to get back on that show, because I'm looking at the Studio Cam A, and I much prefer looking at the sky view shot of your tatas rather than Stu's big old spare tire belly.
I've been practicing my barking for you, because I know you like a little bit of
Hey, you never did bark for me. Can you do it for me? Come on. It may be the last show. This may be our last time, Zara, our last chance.
Okay, Joe.
The jury's still out.
Make sure you're just, in a position to really...
All right, I got my tissue. Come on, get it on. I got my tissue. Let's go.
Just one? I think you're going to need more than that.
All right.
Go into the bathroom just in case it gets really messy.
All right, let's hear it.
Hang on a minute.
Like a big, rough, tough dog.
It's good.
Are you ready?
Are you on all fours?
I'm waggling my tail.
Nice. Okay, here we go.
Oh my god. Did that do it for you, baby?
You gotta smoke?
Joe.
God.
Thanks, Sarah.
That's great.
I keep going to say you're tuned to Play Radio. You've got the stream or the podcast.
Part of.
You're logged on.
Remember, you never remember that. Part of.
Part of. Yeah, contributor. I like it. The numbers, you can human zoo us. It's 01243 55 60 60. Email studio@playradiouk.com.
Play Radio Network cordially invites you to get yourself online right now and take part in our games and quizzes. 24-hour exciting play against real players from all around the world. Test your skills and your nerve for fun or for money. Best of all, you can listen to Play Radio while you do it. Simply go to playradiouk.com/games, log on right now and show us what you've got. playradiouk.com/games. Your fun, your way. Audio stream loading. Playing the greatest hits of the 80s, 70s, and today. To planet Earth. Live from the south coast of England. This is Play Radio UK. Warning, the show you're about to listen to may contain strong language and the content might offend. Tommy and Duncan, sensibly satirical on Play Radio UK.
Fantastic. Where did we get to? Some emails.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of emails. Got a Skype call as well, which just hung up, so it's fine. Let me see. So, another one for Marcus. Tommy, Duncan, anyone else in the studio, please don't take the show off air. I've only just found out this week, I've only just found you this week. Marvellous stuff, by the way. Having had LBC take off Triple M from Sunday evening, once called the most dangerous show on the radio. As an internet radio fan in Portsmouth, your show is now the most dangerous show on the internet. It's just the thing. Uncensored point of view, and though I can have a laugh. Take that cock out of your mouth made me laugh. I can also learn some things too. Get David Irwin on the show. Thanks lots, The Hedgehog.
Maybe they'd enjoy listening back to all the previous shows from the past 12 weeks at playradiouk.com/podcast.
Maybe, yeah. Somebody wanting to know how to join the Skype channel, or you need to
He's a professional, that Matthew.
And I'll sort that out.
Professional what, though? That's the question.
Sorry, Stuart.
No, it's all right. It's fine. Silvio, no, I seem to remember he's in Brazil because he mailed in during the last show about the freedom of speech theme. If you consider that concentration camps did not exist, you can also consider that Hitler did not exist as well. So what's all the discussion about? Too bad I'm not able to talk to you. As you see, my English is not that good. I understand, but can't really speak. Cheers, Silvio. He's in Brazil.
Obrigado, Silvio. Muito bom. No, it doesn't work like that. I hate the thing that there's an arguing technique that some people have. They kind of go, okay, well, if you think that Manchester United then aren't that good, they then somehow leap to suggest that you're saying that the world is upside down and that everything's wrong and that nothing works, which doesn't work, because you've got to stick to the point. We're not saying that the Holocaust didn't happen. We aren't saying anything, Silvio. We are talking to a man who wants to say that he thinks that the Holocaust has been misreported. It's about the size of it.
That's more accurate.
And that's all he's saying, and I want to hear if that's what he's saying. That's what I understand he's saying. I phoned him during the week. And I was scared.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I was scared.
Yeah.
Can you understand that?
Well, of course.
Phone him now.
That's not a bad suggestion.
If you've got his number, phone him.
I'm just trying to think where it is.
Well,
I'll be thinking about that whilst we take a human zoo call. I phoned him and spoke to him, and the second time I phoned him, his answer phone was on, so it would probably just be his mobile.
You! Oi!
Hey, what?
Listening.
Hello.
Right, now, Marcus, please excuse me.
Go ahead, mate.
I was going to, earlier I was going to ring up and say, oh, don't stop this show, it's a great show, Tommy, and all that. Now, I've been reading on the boards, Tommy. Everybody wants to be your fucking pal. Well, I don't want to be your pal if you're going to start denying the fucking Holocaust. Are you denying it as well? You'll be going on about fucking Illuminati and all this and fucking Jewish bankers. Are you mad, man?
I just want to hear what some guy's got to say.
Oh, is that all you want to hear?
Yeah.
How come there's so many fucking survived? Thank God there were some.
I'm saying that's true.
Oh, is that all you're saying? There's so many. Well, I tell you what, there's getting fewer and fewer fucking every year. And I tell you what, if you want to start denying the fucking Holocaust, you better wait till these people have passed on. But, you know, you fucking disgrace, you are!
You see, you're just like... He's gone. Good. Excellent. That's a shame, actually.
I wonder if that guy can
I don't know whether he's real or not, though, see.
I mean, I didn't get the impression you personally were denying the Holocaust.
No. He knows that. He knows that, and he's trying to goad me by pretending that he thinks that I'm a Holocaust denier, but I'm not going to fall for it.
No. Yeah. I'm wondering if you can go 5 minutes without saying fucking. Because it would help my podcast edit.
Fuck your podcast edit.
Fuck you.
Are we still taking fuck out?
I'm sorry.
Should I stop editing the podcast? Should we put it up now? Because we have written warnings and audio warnings.
Oh.
I was going to discuss it with you at the strategy meeting tomorrow morning.
You want to discuss it now?
Well, we can do, then we can spend more time discussing tomorrow morning whether the show should continue or not.
Yes, that's true.
As a listener at work, can I give you my point of view, even though I'm in the studio with you guys? Okay, so editing's great, but I think it sometimes takes away from the actual conversation if you take out the F word and the C word. Perhaps if we sort of limit it to something that maybe, like, is controversial to the extent that maybe Tommy thinks afterwards, well, maybe I shouldn't have probably said that, you know. I mean, like, if you were serious about your Holocaust denial and couldn't back up your statement.
Not believing it.
No, I'm saying if you were serious,
my argument
you might want to not...
My argument to that is that
people get hanged as witches.
People are recording this show anyway and podcasting it through their own means and putting it onto YouTube. So if I took something out, it's still going to be on the internet.
Jesus, you don't give up, do you? All fucking week he's been sat next to my desk.
That's because I don't want to edit the podcast anymore, because I think we are now at a stage where it should go out.
My wife made a good point driving somewhere today. I forget. We were driving down to Aldwick. You didn't need to know that, but I'll tell you. It's a bit of colour, really.
Yeah.
And as we were going past Oaklands Park, there, I can remember it quite clearly, she actually made a very good point. Because we have my youngest son and his girlfriend in the back of the car. And for whatever reason, we sometimes make them laugh by being out of order. Because when you're little or young and your parents are out of order, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my wife and I were making ludicrous racist remarks just to annoy them, because they're politically correct, and in the confines of our own car, we can make ridiculous remarks, you see. And then we started swearing. And hearing your parents go, you know, what the fuck's he doing, a fucking twat. And then there was a silence, and my wife said, and this was a very good point, she said, do you know what? She said, because fuck is now such an acceptable word, words like bloody aren't used anymore.
Well, they're not swear words.
They're not, are they?
No,
they've got no impact. In fact, if you say bloody, it almost suggests that you're a wanker.
Yeah, it's true.
So that word's gone. So language is on the hoof, and I think that, personally, since we only say fuck where it's got some validity, such as in that sentence.
Yeah.
I personally think it's alright. What do you think, Marcus?
Well...
There we go.
I have to be responsible for a network of radio stations, and I can't have a show like this one bringing it down. You know, and
it's not. It adds and enhances.
I think we should hear that the phone's ringing now. I think we should hear from people as to whether the podcast on the website should be edited or not. Come on, guys, ring in and tell us.
It's just a simple answer.
Let's go to the Human Zoo. Hello, you're on.
You've been talking about the Holocaust for the last 20 minutes and all of this thing, and you've missed the most vital thing. You mentioned it, but I can't believe it's been overlooked by everybody so far. Cheese.
Oh, you're my hero. What's your name, friend?
It's a dream of mine. Once I've done my bollocks in London, maybe in about 20 or so years, I'm about 55, maybe mosey on down to somewhere in West Sussex and open a cheese shop.
You should. There are not enough cheese shops in West Sussex, I can tell you that now.
It will only open 3 days a week.
Uh-huh.
And only sell English cheeses.
Oh, no, you've lost me now.
No, well, you know, I can't stand that French cheese.
No, that's fair enough, but how can you survive without great cheeses like Keflatiri? How can you make a decent moussaka without Keflatiri? You have to have it. You have to have it.
I only like cheddar.
Yeah, no, you've disappointed me now.
Well,
I thought I had a
trick out to impress you.
Well, you know, the show is at stake, my friend.
I don't care. It's been 12 weeks, you know.
That's quite.
How much longer do you want?
Frankly, it's enough, isn't it? 12 weeks.
Well, the BBC do 13 because it divides equally
into the calendar.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? I wish that was odd that.
Isn't it? Because also
you either get 26, 32, or 7, which is sort of like a prime number that doesn't divide.
You know, but isn't it because 52 is syndication level for the states, and so they make multiple series of 16 episodes to make.
Well, never mind all that crap.
7 episodes.
Cheddar is a great. Cheddar is
hard over there.
It's a good staple cheese. It's a good stable cheese.
You're talking over me.
I do apologise.
He does that a lot.
I'm only the network manager.
You're doing it again.
What?
Hey?
Excuse me. Listen, I'm paying for the call. We discussed this already.
Okay.
Now, the only good, decent foreign cheese is the Manchego.
I like a bit of Manchego.
Other than that, anything that... I can't abide anything that...
It's not the strongest of flavours, though, Manchego, is it? I mean, it's not feisty. It's not feisty, is it?
I don't care. This is all about me.
Well, okay, alright, fine, my cheesy friend. Okay, so it's cheddar and Manchego.
Can I ask you a question?
Eduardo.
Who?
Hey?
Eduardo.
Sorry, my name's Hugo.
Hugo.
You mentioned that your cheese shop will only open 3 days a week.
Correct.
Why is that, and have you chosen the days on which you'll open?
I haven't chosen the days yet, but so you can't have too much of a good thing. Now, if it's like this show, if it was to be every week,
yes,
then people will drop out and get bored.
But it is.
So you have to do it like, I know, that's why you have to do it in blocks, like with the cheese.
It was.
I'm not trying to put my opinion counts for nothing.
True.
But you weren't meant to do. But
if you're lucky,
I could do with some Manchego to go with this excellent wine that I'm consuming.
You're lucky to get nothing, Hugo. Thank you for that. It reminds me of a bloke I had a horse with once, and I met him at the races when we were buying a horse, and he was really funny. He'd made his money out of bike shops. He had 6 bicycle shops. And I said, well, you don't... I said, bloody hell, I didn't know there was so much money in bicycles. Oh, yeah, he said. He said, what most people do though is they get their bike shop, right, and they open it up a week long. He says, no fucker buys a bike, except on a Saturday. I said, is that...
Should get his costs down there.
He said, yeah. He said, so I just shut the fucking shop up. On a Saturday morning. So I've got no staff costs.
Petworth would be the place you want to open for 3 days, because that's all full of antique shops that are only ever open 3 days a week. Right?
Is that right?
Yeah. Fat Steve.
Hey,
Fat.
I found it really funny that you and I were arguing about the Holocaust when both of us have our total knowledge from the same exact book, that History of the Third Reich. But I think it's by William Shirer.
That's correct.
Or Shearer, is it?
Shearer.
Yeah, he's an American, but we'll forgive him that. He seems to have done his homework. Hey, isn't it funny the first 30-odd pages are all about Hitler, and his real name?
Oh, yeah, and whether, and who his father was and that.
Yeah. What was Hitler's real name again, Steve?
He's reaching for the book now, you understand?
Yeah.
The book is upstairs, so there's no way I'm going to come up with that answer.
Yeah, and there's no way you're going to remember that Hitler's real name was Adolf Schicklgruber.
I should have known that.
You got it now from me. You don't have to read the book again.
Schicklgruber.
Yeah, that book was huge.
It was a big book, and somebody I know has read it all the way through, and that's me. And there's no mention of any evidence that Hitler was aware of any kind of Holocaust, which does not make me a Holocaust denier, or William Shirer a Holocaust denier. And we'll never know what David Irving has to say because nobody's going to let him say it. So that's why we want him on the show.
That's right.
That's it.
Couple of emails, Tom.
Well, yes, but if you do let him on the show, then somebody will let him say it. Doesn't that sort of ruin the mystery?
I just want to hear what he has to say.
Bring him.
I'm kidding.
I know. And thanks for that, Steve. Just let me tell you guys, this is really funny. I mean, Hitler didn't have much of a sense of humour. Although, I've got a book at home called Hitler's Table Talk, because he was a bit paranoid, and he used to sit down every evening, right through the war, and in the run-up to the war, but through the war, with various generals, and sometimes Goebbels was there, and Himmler was there, and he had a bloke at the back taking notes of everything that was said. And so now it's written out, and you can actually read the conversations that Hitler has over dinner. And my God, they're boring. But occasionally there's this little sort of flash of humour. Anyway, Hitler said that the luckiest thing that ever happened to him in his life was that his real father tracked him down, because he was kind of like adopted out. His real grandfather tracked him down and told him that his real family name was Hitler, because he was being brought up by a family called the Schicklgrubers. And his name, when he went to school, his name was Adolf Schicklgruber. And Hitler himself kind of makes this joke that there's no way he could have been the leader of Germany. Because he said,
Heil Schickel.
Exactly. He said, can you imagine them at Nuremberg shouting Heil Schickelgruber?
Imagine the amount of spittle in the air as everybody said.
He said, and he was so lucky. He recognised this because he was, him and his lot. I don't want to get into what Brian Ferry had to say, but him and his lot were pretty good at PR and all that. And he said that the name Hitler, he said, it almost told him what he had to do, which was something, because it was such a fantastic name. That's what he said. Now what?
You go. You want to take the call? So we're getting moaned at on email, but not taking enough calls, apparently.
Oh, hello, it's me again.
Yeah, it's only the same guy. Who's moaning? Who's fucking moaning? It's the usual suspect every time.
Listen,
some bloke rings up, he calls me a Holocaust denier, which I'm not. If you were next to me now and I had a weapon, I would use it on you from the fucking feet up for calling me a Holocaust denier, you tosser.
I know, listen. But you know, like, you remember Syme in 1984? He got vaporised.
Who?
Syme, I don't know. He was played by Donald Pleasance. In 1984, the
movie, 1984,
the book of the film, and they said, Syme got vaporised because he saw too clearly and he spoke too plainly, and I wouldn't like it to happen to you, that way, mate.
Yeah.
And I will set my countenance thus. Oh, hang on, I'm not on the webcam, am I?
No.
I'll set my countenance thus anyway and speak like a precision, as they say, in that way. Could I have a chat with Marcus, do you think, or what?
Frankly, yes.
Hello, Marcus. All right.
Hi, I'm fine. How are you, friend?
I'm all right. So you are the chap cheese that are all going on about it now?
Yes, I am the network manager. Yes.
Right. Well, all this language I've been. You've heard me language, haven't you? Me potty mouth.
I don't think I've heard you at your best yet, to be honest. But go on, impress me.
Listen to this, then, you cunt. I'll acknowledge me error, and I will be attentive, And, I think it's bang on. You must have pockets like something or other, buying Edam cheese and racehorses and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, I was trying to catch up with the podcasting during the week.
Yeah.
And the Podbean thing.
Yeah.
A bit, mind you, I am illiterate and I have lost 2 fingers in a bizarre
freak shipping accident.
But it was a good job I never lost me dick. Oh, steady on. But I would like to contribute, and it's would I have to test for levels in the sense of 1, 2, 1, 2, that kind of thing? Click.
No, we can cope with anything. Go for it.
Can ya?
Yeah.
Here on then.
Okay.
Check this out, mate.
All right.
And I'll ring you. Well, there's probably no point ringing if you're fucking giving the sack, is there? It ain't gonna finish.
It's down to you to convince me to keep the show.
Can I ask you? You said you're listening to the podcast.
Hello, Matt. All right, mate.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, I ain't even. I've got. Okay, I couldn't. Sorry, bud. I couldn't plug the webcam in. Me fucking Skype thing fell off the end of the me headphones.
Don't worry about it. But you say you're catching up on the podcast. Do you think we should edit them, or do you think they should go out unedited?
I don't know, because I ain't heard any. I keep getting them off the. I don't know whether I'm like what they call a pirate in that sense, but I keep getting them off Tommy's Shrine in that way.
Oh, through Mick.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
and he puts an unedited version on already.
Sorry?
And his are unedited, aren't they?
I ain't got a clue, because I can get hold of one of them during the week anyway. I've been otherwise engaged in the in the lowlands of Oswestry.
We want you to have.
You're allowed to say that on.
You've been picking mushrooms. What, magic ones?
No, Paris. No, stay away from them, mate. Oh no.
Look,
I heard all.
we want you to have the very best opportunity to listen back to the shows in the future. So if all you're going to do is send us an email, right? And we will send you the link that will take you straight there, and you can just press one button and all the shows will download straight onto your PC. Alright? So if there aren't any more, then at least you'll be able to collect all the ones that have gone in the past. Alright?
iTunes.
This is Play Radio. It's 01243 55 60 60. Thank you for that call. It's the Human Zoo type format for that. You just go straight through to air, no screening or anything. You can email studio@playradiouk.com.
playradiouk.com. Get £100 off the cost of your holiday right now. 1-4-Travel are offering you an unbelievable £100 discount on all holidays to Turkey. Stay at one of a great range of fantastic hotels to suit all budgets. All you need to do to get your £100 discount on top of the everyday exceptional prices is call now on 0871 664 1405 or go to www.14travel.co.uk. If you want to try something different, then check out the wide range of music playing now on playclassicaluk.com. This is Play Radio UK. Sensibly satirical. Tommy and Duncan on Play Radio UK. Not for the faint-hearted.
We're on.
We're missing the mic tonight.
We're back. Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I take the microphone down. Yes. We were having a conversation because I was just trying to demonstrate to Matt that actually when there's silence on the radio or on a podcast or whatever, you don't go, go and listen to Radio 2. You don't, you just kind of go, hello.
Nobody listens to find out what's going to happen, why it's gone off.
Yeah.
Well, no, because surely there's silence, so you're not going to find out.
Well, you never know.
How long the silence is. It's like an unknown entity.
They might
quite exciting.
Who's heard of a Mersey poet called, he was in Scaffold. Anybody heard of Scaffold? Marcus has heard of Scaffold.
No.
He was, John Gorman, not John Gorman, the other one, the intelligent. Anyway, he was a bit of a poet, and he wrote a poem about 5 people who were shipwrecked on a desert island. 4 men and a woman. And he wrote a verse about the first man, and then a verse about the second man, and a verse about the third man, and a verse about the fourth man. And the 5th verse was just, and the woman, ... Okay. So he's making some kind of a point there. Anyway, he was horrified to discover that his poem was being used in the O-levels, English literature O-levels in Newcastle, and he so opposed to the exam system that he asked them to pull his poem out, and they said, no, you can't. It's in the public domain, where we can use any piece of literature we want. So, he went up to Newcastle and he took his own poem as an email, as an O-level. He sat his own poem, right?
Presumably the question was to fill out what the woman did.
But no, he sat there and here is a poem by Roger McGough. That's it. Here's a poem by Roger McGough. Say, please tell us what you think. So he wrote what he thought about his own poem, right? And he fucking failed.
I knew you were going to say that.
He failed.
That's atrocious.
And he's seen the paper marked by whoever marked it and failed him on his own poem because one of the questions was, who is the most interesting person on the island? And Roger McGough replied, the woman, because she is just silence. And the examiner next to it just put, wrong. Wrong! And it was his own friggin'
Did he ever confront the examiner and make him realise how much of a twat they'd been?
I don't think he was allowed to actually find out who'd done the examining on it. But isn't that... I tell that because silence can be sometimes, and God, don't I illustrate it from time to time, more interesting than anything else. But also I like that because I'm not keen on exams myself.
I hate exams.
I just took an exam this week, passed 75%.
Well done. What was that?
Project management.
Right.
I was just telling Matt how so much of a boring experience I've had this week. 5 days of training, watching a whiteboard with a pad in front of me. I can tell you there's nothing more boring than just sitting there looking at a white screen for 8 hours.
I can't believe you passed at 75%.
It was good. Well, the pass mark was 50.
What?
Anybody fail? But on the plus side, I beat my boss who did the same course, so it was 1 up. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It is nice when you pass them, but they're bollocks, really.
So now I've been running a project, something that will take you 5 days. Now doing it the proper way, it'll take you 25 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you going to do with this qualification now you got it?
Fuck all.
Fuck all.
See, the only qualifications, the only things I've ever, like, college courses I've passed, etc., have been non-exam based. Of course, I learn on the job, so to speak. Practically.
I remember, yes. You often bring the conversation.
You do learn
around.
on the job, don't you? There's nothing like on the job for learning, is there?
Marcus, did you ever have a chance to listen to Matt's brilliant explanation of how the modern young man puts on the condom on the first date?
I can't honestly say. No, I don't believe that's the conversation you and I have had.
He's good.
With your appraisal approaching.
He's very good with his appraisal approaching. Do you want to just remind us how you do it? Because all I said, Marcus, was I'm from the generation where there was no sexual disease that would kill you. Condoms were if you were absolutely certain that the girl wasn't on the pill.
Yeah.
Because when I was a boy, young man, there was no AIDS. And it's awful for people who have to put up with that, deal with that. And most girls were on the pill. So I didn't use a condom till I was about 40, and it was with my wife, and therefore... You know, it's just,
it was just for a bit of fun, really.
Really. Well, you know, boring, and so I still get them inside out sometimes. So you can't. There, that one. However, Matt stepped in and told us how you get the condom on the first date where you don't want to have to discuss it.
Would you like me to demonstrate?
Damn well would not.
Okay, end of the bed, right, girl, legs, oral sex, yeah? Okay, you with me?
Sorry.
Reach over, grab the condom.
Yes.
While you're doing it.
Yes.
Open it up.
Yes.
Find out which way. On you go, and then you're up and in.
Whilst you're doing
Whilst you're giving oral sex.
Or on the first date?
Well,
on the first time in bed?
First time in bed, yeah.
Good for you, son. Good for you. Very good. Very
always, rule number one, always kiss the girl all over her body and perform oral sex before you do anything else.
What are you doing after the show? Well, Marcus.
I was just thinking I've had worse. Okay, where are we going now, Stuart?
Do you want to do the phone calls that have been going?
Yep, okay. Good day, you're on Play Radio's Sort of Human Zoo line. Hello.
The show must go on.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
You have just over 30 minutes left to convince me. Just over 30 minutes left to convince me.
I think we should hold you to a decision before 10 o'clock comes.
That's brilliant. So, do you want to go through some email that we haven't gone through yet?
Yeah,
so,
come on.
Carl says, Zara. So I'm guessing this is an opinion piece about Zara, as we have asked what opinions were for her. She's like one of those women you'd really have been disappointed by in bed. She's a boring attention seeker. I guess I don't like West Londoners, especially that woman. Zara, fuck off the lot of you. Go count your allowance.
Nah, that's harsh, because having met the woman last week, I actually thought she was very pleasant.
I thought she was very nice, yeah, but that was one opinion as she asked, I guess.
She's not bad looking either, you know.
Yeah, not bad.
She's aged
not
well.
Bad, yeah.
But that person was allowed to express that opinion on Play Radio.
And that is the point.
And, to top it off, she was single.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Terry says, hello gang, where does the word Nazi really come from? I once read that it comes from the Ashkenazi race of Jewish people. There are two types of races of Jews. That is the Ashkenazi white-skinned and the Sephardi dark-skinned. And I think some don't like each other for some reason or another, though I may be entirely wrong. If so, someone who is Jewish listening, or any of the US callers, could perhaps comment or clear this up. Cheers, Terry. Mark Pearson says, on the subject of cross-dressing and the police force, I once dressed up as a woman for a fancy dress party, but was arrested on the way by the police for attempted prostitution. The policeman then drove me to an alleyway and tried to procure my services. In the most obvious way imaginable, I had to prove I really was a man. But this seemed to make the policeman even more keen. It was just like the last scene from Some Like It Hot. Never again. Matt Newport says he's been trying to phone up for ages and ages and ages and keeps getting engaged tone or just ringing. So the point he wanted to make on the phone was, do you think the Olympics being held over here is a good thing or a waste of our money, and should that money be spent on the NHS, stroke, transport, etc.?
It's just another thing that we're going to fail at in this time in our own country.
England. Country of losers. It's great, isn't it?
We've been doing it for years.
Andrew Nixon says, hi gang, can I just ask Tommy if he thinks Irving has a hidden agenda or whether he is merely being contentious?
I don't know, because I haven't heard him say anything. Nobody will let him speak. Nobody should have an opinion on the man. Nobody should even be asking questions about his opinion, because nobody knows what his opinion is. Because nobody's heard it. He's written books, I grant you, but he has to set up his own bookshop because no bookshops will carry his books.
Yep.
Is that right?
And I'm not frightened of what somebody else thinks.
No.
And it's not going to make me... there are sheep. James Watson, who's another person that nobody allows to speak, thinks that Africans are sheep or something, not clever enough to deal with their own economic problems.
You know what annoys
But I just want to know what these people actually think. Okay? Emailer, thank you for that.
The person that mailed in earlier on Upside Down wanted to know whether or not he should tell his sister about wearing her clothes.
Yes.
Has mailed back and said, Zara, can you come and give me some clothing advice? You're far too stylish.
Okay, all this type of flirting that's going on.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I was ankle deep in human waste. The toilet had been clogged. Marble jelly all over the place. I don't even have a dog. The man upstairs, he grips my arm saying, don't I know your dad? All I could hear was the fire alarms. The day my pad went mad. All I could hear was the fire alarms. The day my pad went mad.
There's a great picture just come through on the.
Have you seen that, Marcus?
Blend these and you get that. Hang on, is this going to reach? Hang on a minute. How do we get that?
No, right.
There we go. No. Hang on. That's it. Just to that way a bit. That's it. There we go. That's great. That's brilliant.
What you're hearing, if you're only listening, when you're hearing us say, let's do that, tilt that a little bit, the show is very impressively webcammed. This is down to you, isn't it, Stuart?
Thank you.
That was,
TommyBoyd.surfbeer.com.
I'm quite offended now.
You should have seen the one they did for Stuart.
It was so close.
Was it Alan Shearer?
I was blowing Alan
Tom,
Shearer.
it was so close.
Yeah.
Right, you know.
Has that veered it the other way now?
Matt says an email about cheese. I've got just a couple more to get to. Matt, about cheese. I believe my grandfather was the first person, along with my great uncle, to produce Caerphilly in England many moons ago.
It's a nice crumbly cheese, Caerphilly.
After the Second World War, I think, down in the West Country near Taunton. So my point is, Caerphilly is a fine cheese and needs to be celebrated. Please name your top 3 cheeses, please, Tom.
My top 3 cheeses?
Yeah, top 3 cheeses.
That's pushing you.
Depends on the circumstance, doesn't it? On a picnic, definitely a little bit of Shropshire Blue, which is yellow.
Bit of blue.
And I'd stay with blue, actually, because I like a mild blue like Dolciolata.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah, fair enough.
Creamy. And then I would actually have, just to make the roof of my mouth burn, I would have a piece on a nice piece of oat cake of mountain gorgonzola.
Mountain gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola, which is said to be the hottest blue cheese.
You do like your blues, don't you?
I do, yes. Yourself?
No, I like a mixture. I really got into goat's cheese in the last 5, 6 years, actually, big time.
Not salty enough for me sometimes.
Oh, goat's cheese? No, absolutely not.
I like it. Sometimes you're not quite sure what I like.
No, I don't like. Tell you what,
herbs. They wrap herbs.
No, I don't like all that. No. I like the fully formed cheese. So goat's cheese I'm quite fond of. Old Amsterdam, which is a nice smoky,
you mentioned
salty.
It before.
Which I'm very, very fond of, which you don't get enough of, quite frankly. And just for sort of like sandwich fillings and sort of general pleasantness, other than your everyday cheddar, I'm quite partial to Jarlsberg, actually.
Okay.
Quite partial to Jarlsberg.
I love all cheeses, and I like my Stilton and that. My palate's quite wide with cheeses, but my favourite one is just so boring. It's just Red Leicester. You can't beat it, melted over a bit of toast.
Well, let's
hard to get a good Red Leicester, though.
No, we're drifting, boys, and any minute now we'll be on to Welsh Rabbit. And then that's the show. So I think we'll come back to Welsh Rabbit and what's the difference between Welsh Rabbit and cheese on toast another time. If, of course, Marcus decides that there is going to be
another time.
Which way are you leaning?
We're down to 25 minutes.
Which way are you dressing at the moment, Marcus?
Well, the cheese conversation has encouraged me, but the picture was...
How would you see it progressing? Would you want more culinary items? Recipes, perhaps?
I do feel that a culinary injection would be
Do you think we could train Matt up to do some cooking in the studio or something, maybe?
No, I think Warrell Thompson style.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot you could train Matt up for at all.
No.
Oh dear, it's
nice to have the support of your boss, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he's just jealous because I'm better at radio than he is.
We're better at oral sex, perhaps.
Well, perhaps.
Better at putting a condom on while performing oral sex.
Who says men can't multitask?
Our number is 01243 55 60 60. This is the last of 12 shows that were commissioned by Marcus, who is the network manager at Play Radio, with myself and Duncan. We had great support throughout from Stuart at the microphone, and also brilliantly technically, and Matt as well was here. Oh
yeah, Matt, that's him.
Just everybody's
Matt. Do you know, actually, Matt got described as the squeaky-voiced guy, squeaky-voiced teen from The Simpsons. You know, the guy that always works in the shop and stuff, and is he works in the supermarket. Hi, can I help you? And somebody on the forums the other day said that's who he sounded like. So.
All right, fuck them.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with that. No, Matt broadens our demography gloriously, and
got a Skype call.
Okay,
is that political? Is that oh, forget it.
Yeah, Clarky.
Hello there, Clarky on Skype. It's Play Radio here. Hello.
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 Speak.
Now, or forever hold thy peace.
Is that Clarky there?
That's political. Is that...
I think he's listening to the stream and not listening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, now what I'm going to do is this, what's this guy's name, Clarky?
Clarky.
I'll do this for everybody, but I'll address it to Clarky. If you use Skype, and you call us on Skype, but you're listening to the output as a stream, that output is going to be a few seconds behind what you hear when you're talking to us on Skype. So what people are gradually learning to do is to either stop the audio stream once they're connected on Skype, or turn it down. Now, Clarky, I'm really hoping that you've been able to do that whilst I've been talking like this, because what I did was I faded you down. I'm going to fade you back up now. And if you've got rid of your live audio stream and you're just taking the Skype stream, then we should be able to have a conversation, Clarky.
I've just done that, Tommy, thank you.
It's got some sort of delay thing going on.
Try again, Clarky.
Hello, can you hear me now?
That's better.
Yeah, that's better. Higher.
Yeah, are we in there?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, you need to carry on. I've really only sort of this evening caught on to this. To be honest with you, I got to your YouTube broadcasts by accident by looking at something else. And I used to listen to you when it must have been about 12, 13 years ago when you used to do the talk radio.
Yeah.
Before that packed up. And, yeah, you need to carry on. I've enjoyed what I've heard tonight. But unfortunately, it sounds like there's a possibility it might finish and wrap up.
All right, listen, that's good effort. Thank you very much indeed for that. We're still... See, Marcus, if we do another 12, say, look, it's worth, expanding or whatever. One of the things, Stuart, we're going to have to do is look at Skype in a very objective way, aren't we? Because I had hopes that Skype, with its studio quality sound, plus the fact that it is free, so people can call in 10 times from Poland, and it doesn't cost them anything.
Not a thing.
If they're calling from, I mean, we're based in Sussex.
Mm-hmm.
If people are calling from Sussex or the UK, it doesn't cost them too much.
No.
But if they're in Poland, how much does it cost? Joe wouldn't be able to do it, would he?
No, calling international, it's ridiculously expensive.
But I'm wondering if there's an alternative VoIP system, which, whilst more obscure than Skype, might allow us better one-to-one. Because Skype, how many users are there on Skype at the moment? You can probably find...
Right at this moment in time.
This moment in time, I bet you there's 7 million, something like that.
Hang on a minute. Well, yeah, there's 7.5 million people actually online, yeah.
Right, so we're now competing with getting calls onto Play Radio with 7 million other users.
Yep.
So it's hardly surprising that occasionally this free system doesn't quite deliver.
Yeah.
So, Marcus, I think we put it to you like this, as in negotiation now. We would say, I would say, I would be willing to do another 12. I would be willing to do another 12. But we need another couple of phone lines.
Which is going to require investment.
I appreciate that, but we're not going to take our audience base to the next level if either we are not here, that's a given, but I also feel that the Human Zoo strand is so potentially successful that we just need a couple of extra lines.
And we have had complaints this evening that they can't get through because it's engaged while it's ringing with other people.
Okay, well then I have responsibility for the network to ask whether, in terms of audience, whether we're going to see a return on that investment. Because whilst current audience levels are within acceptable parameters, what we'd be looking for in return for the investments you're suggesting.
Well, that's a reasonable point. That is a reasonable point. And Matt had his hand up because he wanted to say something.
Yes,
which is rather endearing, actually. Matt. That's fine.
What I was going to say.
Chair recognises Matt.
We are actually sort of missing something that I thought of the other day and had forgotten about until now. Is that being technically minded, Stuart will understand this as well. We do actually have a second phone line that can be tapped into this studio, not for this week, but maybe for another broadcast if it happens. We do have a second phone line.
Okay. There are also things you can do with Skype, for instance, where you can forward this number here to the Skype system, and so once it gets handed off, that line is available again.
Okay, but Marcus raises a very good point, one that I want to address. I certainly don't want to run away from it, Marcus, and it is this. BBC Radio and broadcasting generally is funded because the government puts a gun to the head of all 52 million people in the country and says, give us 120 quid every year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a problem, is it?
That's true.
So easy. That's an easy one. Commercials, they go around, commercial radio stations and television, the rest of it, they go around saying to people, we've got so many people watching us and listening to us that the only way you're going to sell your Renaults or your Daz washing up powder is by buying 30 seconds with us and telling everybody about it.
True.
Now, the internet can't obviously make people make a subscription, but it seems to me there's three possible ways in which you could get back some of your investment if you want to put a switchboard in here and maybe get a phone operator and all that kind of thing.
I'm listening.
One would be conventional advertising, but then people might go, one of the things we like about the internet show is that there are no bloody commercials on it. Then there's conventional internet advertising, isn't there? Whereby ads pop up. I mean, it can be very annoying.
Yep.
But there's that way. Then there's sponsorship, whereby, some company, we call it, the, I don't know, DHL show or something like that. They're a good advertiser.
Tommy and Duncan in association with DHL.
We've teamed up. I hate that. I hear it a lot. We've teamed up.
The Tommy Boyd Bicycle Shop sponsors.
We've teamed up with my mate Jeff, who used to own some bicycle shops that only opened on Saturday. And the third way is subscription. So I think the people who are listening at the moment and chatting on Skype and emailing us and calling in 01243 55 60 60, I want to ask you all a question. And I don't have a view one way or the other. I'm only asking you a question, right? Would you pay, say, a £5 a month, say, to be allowed access to this show and to be allowed to contribute what you want when you want, so that it would then be a genuine community, a fee-paying community?
Nice.
Because that is
See, that's already springing up alarm bells for me, because the people who listen to Play Radio during the day, would they suddenly lose transmission between 8 and 10 on a Sunday night because they haven't subscribed?
Yes.
Why? That's not very fair, is it?
Yes.
The loyal listeners who listen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, suddenly cut off because they're not paying a subscription.
It's a commercial. It's a business, mate. It's a business,
mate. But I don't think
it's a business.
But we're supplying people with entertainment. We're not. I hate the way commercial radio these days is just constantly based on budget and money and stuff. Why can't we just entertain people?
An even better question would be, do any of our community for this show out there work or are associated with or know any organisations that would want the kind of exposure that we can offer them to sponsor this show, in the belief that it is the modern-day cutting-edge platform for free speech and discussion in this country, and indeed the world.
The resounding answer in the chat room is no, in big capital letters. They're cheapos. But I think you lost lots of them where, after the statement, do any of these people work? I think he could probably have stopped there.
Milan says, this makes me laugh. If you make us pay, we'll get a life instead of listening to you.
That's not my, it's not my bag. It's not a subscription. No. It's not what I'm about. It's not what I'm about as a network manager.
Peter Chapman says,
against it.
Peter Chapman says, Marcus could afford more phone lines if he stopped buying expensive cheeses.
Very true. I can afford my own cheese hotline.
Hang on a minute. Are you putting cheese on the company budget before my pay rise?
Most definitely.
Well, you can't a pay rise. You can't go much higher than zero, which you told us last week anyway. So.
I can feel the pressure mounting. I'm going to have to come to a decision in the next 5-6 minutes.
Yes, interesting. Let's take another call to Play Radio. It's the sort of human zoo style thing. So you're on. Hello.
Hello, it's Nina. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I have a very important question. What color pants shall I get Dennis for Christmas?
Black.
Green.
Why white? I want to get him white, but I'm not sure if the colour will suit.
You have a problem with skid marks, love, when he's been...
Yeah, that's right. That's why black is so good. Black hides every kind of stain that happens in the pant area.
Apart from one.
I think he liked grey pants as well.
Why do we wear pants? We don't share
You're not going commando,
on a basis. Why do we wear pants?
To avoid unnecessary bruising and chafing.
Hang on a minute. What jeans are you wearing?
What? If it was to avoid unnecessary bruising and chafing, then you'd wear pants all the way down to your ankles, wouldn't you?
No, because not everyone's...
Because your knees are just as sensitive as your...
Well, what bruises against your knee then, Tommy?
Nothing bruises against my knee. I've always wondered what the point is of underpants. Underpants are a complete... they're just a pressure, aren't they? They're a pressure.
They keep everything together, and they form it into a nice shape.
Why do men wear boxer shorts? What's the point of boxer shorts?
I agree.
No point in boxer shorts as well.
Yeah. If we didn't wear boxer shorts and pants, it'd be extremely embarrassing when we went, like, if you're staying at a parent's house and you went down in the morning to get yourself a cup of tea and you weren't wearing it.
Is that the only reason? Every day you wear... underpants on their top because you might suddenly inexplicably end up at your parents' house. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Go away, Nina. Thank you for your call.
LDN calling, by the way, says that he's imagining Tommy wearing long johns at the moment. And he also says, get a cheese company to sponsor the show, then you can have wine and cheese whenever you want it.
What a damn fine idea.
Oh, well, I'm going to talk to somebody I know, actually, on that score, and he's very good, because he came and listened. I used to do a show on a thing called Talk Radio, where I used to be quite aggressive, only for comedic purposes, to the callers. And he came and he watched an hour of the show, and I said, what do you think? Oh, he said, Scottish guy, but he said, I know where we're going to go with you. He said, I think, we'll go to one of the manufacturers of fucking dog meat.
Play Radio UK.
Why don't you upgrade your TV viewing and save money with a Vida HD Plus system? One smart box delivers high-definition resolution on TV, DVD and games. You can freeze and rewind live TV and record your programs to watch later, even when you're watching another channel. And it comes with all the Freeview channels already installed. Best of all, it's free when you book an installation at just £69 and take out our comprehensive service agreement for only £10 per month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get a free digital aerial upgrade ready for the big switchover. For more information and to order yours, call now on 08702 432 969 or log on to www.vida.co.uk. 08702 432 969. Vida. Tomorrow's vision today.
Right now, you can take part in some fantastic games right here at the Play Radio UK network. Simply log on to playradiouk.com/games and you can compete with other Play Radio listeners round the world. You can always play for fun, but if you prefer, you can choose to play for money. Best of all, you can listen to Play Radio UK while you're doing it. playradiouk.com/games. Your fun, your way. Politically Corrupt. Tommy and Duncan on Play Radio UK. Beware, the content of this show may offend.
I noticed we've been a lot more professional this week now the boss is in. We haven't talked over any of the adverts this
week.
You
just did.
We haven't had a cul-de-sac.
But that was a...
We haven't had a cul-de-sac either, have you noticed that? We haven't had one in the show.
You see, Matt's production's been top on today.
Yeah, I went through,
we haven't suddenly got a ramp when you're not expecting it and stuff.
It is nerve-wracking, isn't it, when the boss is in looking over your shoulder, guys?
No, actually, you know what, I have to say, really good guy to work for, and I don't feel any nerves when the boss is around me because he's actually a nice guy. He's a genuine guy. It's good to work with him.
Did you find any polyps up there?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I keep
I say that with utter genuine.
That's very kind of you, Matt.
Admiration.
I keep you around because
he says things like that.
And during the day, he calls me a piss-taking little shit at work. That's my nickname. The
it is my
piss-taking
pet
little
name
shit.
for you, isn't it?
Matt from Newport says, I can't believe this might be the last show. I've started to listen to Play Radio again after the rugby for the last few weeks. This is easily the best talk radio broadcast from the UK. Better than 5 Live and Talk Sport. And I'm a big Talk Sport fan.
Okay, that's Matt in Devon I can see on the screen. Yeah. Well, it's Play Radio, and it's our Sunday night experiment, which we ran for 12 weeks, as agreed. Myself, Duncan Barkus, we're joined by Stuart and Matt. Marcus is the man with the money, the network manager, and we're really delighted to have him along this evening. We've got about 7 minutes to go this evening, and one of the things in Marcus's mind is whether he's going to say, okay, go ahead and do a few more, maybe another 12 or something like that. We talked a lot. I've noticed a lot of people on the Skype chat are saying these are ways in which you could get more listeners. And you know, Marcus, I might be right in saying this. I think I am. Getting more listeners is not something that I have a problem with. That's easy, because we're good. And I say we. But business is business. And you know, I think we should be open with the people who are contributing to what we're doing here and saying that at the moment, fundamentally, Marcus, I mean, you're just sugar daddying the whole thing.
It's true, I am. And sugar daddying it's a role I've striven for.
Thought of Marcus being a sugar daddy.
I am your sugar daddy already.
No, it's
Mr.
yes.
Oral sex condom wearing, taking little shit.
Hey, I'm good.
At putting on condoms while performing oral sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't knock me for it. It's an art form you should
I
learn.
have, during the show, been given the proposition some serious thought, and I am touched by the input from the rest of the community, the contributors, the other parts of the show which are so important, which is all you guys out there. But you're right, I have been sugar daddying. We have been running this show on my generosity, and it can't, unfortunately, go on. So, Tommy, I'm going to ask you not to come back next week.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair enough. And I understand that, because that's only the 28th time I've been fired.
Well, what I meant by that was...
I don't have a problem with that at all, because, you know, some of the people who have fired me have been some of the greats of British media, and, Marcus, you're not that yet. But, if you go on firing top talent, well, not firing, but let's be clear, you've got no commercial reason to do another 12, have you?
No.
And
that's
and I
the sad
understand
truth.
that.
It's the sad truth of the situation.
And I understand that.
So I don't want you to come back next week. I want you to come back the week after.
Oh.
For another 12 weeks and do 3 hours on a Sunday evening this time.
3 hours?
Yes, please.
Do I get another phone line?
You get another phone line, no problem. It's done.
All right, you got a deal. Put it out.
Okay.
Wicked. So just to be clear, we're having a break next week, and then we're coming back the week after for 3 hours instead of 2.
Can you manage that?
Is that what
Can
we're doing?
I manage that?
I'll handle
I'll
that.
have to buy another 4 beers.
Yeah, you will. Once you do get through, you're a party animal, young
That's
Matthew.
great news.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have a week off to celebrate and then come back.
So what
the
do
week
I?
after.
What do we do next week during the time? What should I do?
Shag.
Should I play the very first show?
Oh, I see.
No, I'm going to have my very own Sunday night show.
Yes. Okay.
Should I play the very first ever Tommy and Duncan show next week?
No, I think you
Like
should.
time, or-
I think you should spend the time developing a podcast for the Play Radio website that tells people how to put condoms on whilst performing oral
sex. Yes. Hello, caller.
Hello there, I'm almost up to date here now. I can do several things. Hey, Phil, come here! Right, I got you 2 contributors. Come here! I got you 2 contributors. Demographically speaking, they're top of the range, mate. Promise you.
Go on then.
Fucking
Socio-economic group A.
Fucking alphabet
Airline
soup.
pilots, are they? Lawyers? What are we talking here?
Well, put it this way, the World Health Organisation, when they need to do whatever they need to do, might have to get in touch with them to sort it out, you know what I mean? Fucking moan, I love it. Phil! Come here! He's going like that now. I wish I had my webcam on him, and he's going like that now, he's shaking his hands. Anyway, as a contributor, what I would like to do, for the edit, no, honestly, he's like, demographically, he's fucking, you know, they're all Skyping in from Switzerland, Marcus, if you don't mind me being so familiar.
No.
That's quite alright, mate.
Is it? Thank you very much. And so, if it's going to be the end of the show, which is a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake you're making, well, I don't know whether this is on that. I wouldn't mind bunging a few quid. But there again...
Thank you. I'll let you know the account number.
Certainly. You can pay anything you like.
Maybe we could do it on a donations thing.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, you can have as much cheese as you like, Matt. Well,
Thank
with
you.
you, a few condoms for you, cigars for Duncan, Tommy, anyway, you know, on a less
I should get
kind
myself sponsored by Durex or something.
I tell you what, seriously, and I've got because I don't know how they work out, I've got it's from Network, you know, that film with Peter Finch. They always say you got
Sorry, I didn't mean to click that at that moment in time.
That's brilliant. I've got a great one, right? Right, here, you're gone.
No, you're there.
Chris. Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong button at the wrong time. Sorry.
Is there somebody on Skype who can hear me?
Andy Lyons.
Hello, Andy. Nope.
No, guess not.
Yeah.
Hello, Andy.
I've just hung him up. Sorry.
Oh, Andy, listen, thanks for listening. Just about run out of time, so there it is. This evening we've put together a 2-hour effort. We've had some good discussions about freedom of speech, really good discussions, I think, about freedom of speech. We've talked like people do, which is such a relief to talk like people do instead of these strange characters, broadcasters. What are they on? We talked a bit about James Watson, who we might get on the show if we can, and David Irving, who we might get on the show. Not because we support what we think they might say, it's just that we don't know what they're saying, so we just want to find out what it is that they say. Occasionally, it's very frustrating for you listening, because you occasionally will hear people giggling, and the reason for that is because somebody's just submitted a pornographic email.
So go on, Matt, lick his ass.
And that's all it can take. And some of these guys. Thanks, Stuart, again, for all your hard work, and Matt as well.
Well done, guys.
There's a lot of question about whether or not it's 8 till 11, 9 till 12, 10 till 1, or what. But I'm guessing that'll be decided during the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that'll be
strategy meeting Monday morning.
Strategy meeting Monday morning. Thank you, Marcus.
So you will be back here in 2 weeks' time.
We will be
with
back
a
here in
3-hour
2
show.
weeks' time.
And I may just come down again.
We could handle that.
Yeah. I enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for having me on the show, Tommy.